Okay, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. We welcome you from around the world and in the United States. My name is Diana Wright, and this is the Diana Wright Show live online. We begin right now, and we hope you had a great weekend and hope that you worshiped and you prayed and you did all the things and you came to some realizations. For me, I got lots of good news, lots of bad news, but anyway, we take them all in stride and we move along and we realize that we should live in the moment and in the moment only. Because when you make those big plans and they don't come true, then you are so disappointed and you're so depressed and you're so bewildered. And again, you need and you must love yourself, as we continue to beg you to do on this show. Because when you love yourself, which is the intention of this show, to go on an I Love Me crusade, along with my book, Deadly Negligence, to show you the video of some of what has happened in my life for the past 6 years. And then you will realize quickly that you must love yourself first. You must stop wanting to be someone else. You must accept your own life and what God gave you, your gifts. And you must also realize that there's parts of the Bible, most of the Bible, that when you read it, you need to digest it and trust. Because there is a verse that says, God makes all the evil things happen for your good. And when you're in it, you can't see it. Absolutely not, you can't see it. But once you get to that place, almost to the end of that tunnel, you simply understand why you were taken down that journey. So whatever is happening to you right now, it's hard to believe that you are actually supposed to accept it and know that where you are right now is exactly where you're supposed to be. And I know that that is such a big medicine to actually absorb in your mind, believe it, and receive it. Because when you're in your tragedy and your devastation, you're saying, what? How could Jesus ask me to do something like that? Believe that what I'm going through will end up and he will make it good? But he actually does. And when you listen to people like Joyce Meyer, who talks about her abuse, and how her father would rape her continuously as a young girl, and she felt safe nowhere in her house. She felt not protected by her mother. You wonder, and you see her now, and you realize that it's her testimony that has made her the person that we know. And when we look and we listen to preachers like T.D. Jakes, who are saying what I've been saying to you all this time, try not to be anyone else but who you are. Stop trying to blame your parents for everything. And if you did not have a father or a mother, you need to get over it when you become an adult. Because then you have a do-over. You have a chance to start your life as an adult. Make your dreams come true. And take the bad things that happen to you in your life, like the fact that you don't have a father. You will make sure that when you have your children, you make sure they have a father in their lives every day. If you didn't have a mother, you will make sure that when you have your children, you will be the best mother that you can be. Because it gives you that drive and that push and that energy to know that you don't want the same thing for your children that you had. So yes, if we look at it that way, and if we reflect and come to those conclusions, we will realize Yes, it works together for good. And as I remind you that April 30th, which is just 15 days away from here, from today, is International I Love Me Day, declared by this program, The Diana Wright Show Live Online. And I'd like you to take it to every single person you know, even those you hate, those you dislike, and those you consider your enemies. Spread the word to them. Because once we love ourselves, we're not out to get anyone else. We're not out to do evil. We're not out to be jealous and envious and malicious and try to cut down other people's lives. Because we love ourselves and we value ourselves and we know who we are. So we just are able to spew and give love and receive it as it comes to us. We no longer have to be desperate for love as some women are. Because some women, if they don't have a man in their life, they think they're incomplete. I am here to tell you that you are complete with or without a man in your life. We should never be dependent on our lover or our husbands to validate us or to give us happiness. We must get that out of our cranium and begin to realize that you and only you can make you happy. You and only you are able to take you out of that depressed state that you're in. You and only you can protect yourself from the abuser or the rapist in your life. Because you have to find that strength within you to make that happen. And as we grow to realize that families are not supposed to be divided and hate each other. Families are supposed to take care of each other and protect each other. Yes, that's what they're supposed to be doing. Because when you can have a family member who is sick and going in and out of a hospital and telling everyone that he has no family, he has no one, and it takes someone in the morgue after he dies to search his pocket and be determined to find someone who can own this person, and eventually finds a name, 2 names, and kept calling and calling and calling with persistence until they got a call back for someone to claim that person on that cold zinc. Because when we die, that's where we end up, on a piece of zinc or whatever table. And then we go into the refrigerator until someone claims our body. So if you actually believe and know that that actually happened to someone that I know, you will realize that you need and you must live in the moment. And you must be happy with who you are and where you are. And accept who you are and how God made you. Because if you continue to just seek and find and never find joy or peace or happiness in your life, you end up like the news I got about someone I know and grew up with. You deny who you are and who your family is. And then you die because you're sick and you have no one to take care of you. And it takes one great human being in a morgue to find someone to own your body and claim your body before the government just buries you. So when we sit down and we worry about all the little things, as the book says, don't sweat the small stuff. When you hear news like this, that I was compelled to share it with you today. Because I want you to come to the realization that the little things that are going on in your life, that are going on within your family, you need to fix it. The things that are going on between you and your friends, if you value them, you must fix it. Because life is very, very short. And if you live for just tomorrow and not acknowledge this moment that you're having, whether it's joy or peace or sadness or depression, you must acknowledge it, deal with it, get out of it, and make it better. Because life is not promised to you for tomorrow. Today might be your last day. This might be your last moment. So cherish it and love it and fix whatever you must fix. Because when you die, will you have someone to claim your body? Will you have someone to weep for you? Even though the Bible tells you that you should rejoice. And instead you should cry when a new person is born. But we do the reverse anyway. So will you have someone to bury you? Will you have someone to claim your body? Because the way you live is normally the way you die. No man is an island. And each and every one of us needs someone else in our lives, not just our children or our husbands or our wives. We all need someone, and we must realize that life is precious. And I told you the things that love is capable of doing. Love gives you happiness, it gives you joy, it gives you peace. It can take you out of a coma. Love speaks to you in your darkest moment. And love is the greatest gift that you can give to anyone. Not only your children, a friend, or even a stranger, that you can show them some empathy and say a kind word that will pull them out of what they're going through. Because for someone to be sick and going into a hospital back and forth and deny that he even has anyone when he has a huge family, that's a truly sad, bad place to be for any one of us. So I beg you, wherever you're watching or whomever you know, to spread this word. Live in the moment, live in the now. And whatever your troubles or your pain with your family members or whomever you think is trying to wrong you, let them know what they're doing. Try to fix it. Don't die with that in your heart, because it's not a good place to be. I thought I just had to share that with you because it was compelling for me. It brought tears to my eyes. It just punched me in the gut and in the soul and in my spirit. So we need to mend fences. It's important to mend fences. Joyce Meyer talked about mending with her dad before he died. And each and every one of us have a Judas in our lives. But the Judas in our lives sometimes is a Judas that gives us that kick for us to want to succeed and want to be the best you that you can be. The person in your life, who, whether it's your mother or your aunt or whomever, your uncle, who told you you'd be no good, you made up your mind at that moment that you're going to show them that you can be good and be better. So we all need the Judases. And sometimes we need to thank the Judases for giving us the energy and the strength to move forward. So who is the Judas in your life? Be thankful for them, because they will motivate you to get to your promise that was promised to you. So once again, I thank you and I welcome you from around the world and in the United States. This is the Diana Wright Show, and we hope and we pray that whatever we say, whatever I say here today will give you some sense of value, motivation, encouragement. I will hope to inspire you to be a better you, to love yourself at the beginning of each day, and to open your boxes. Because remember, whether it's a gold box or a purple box tied with opposite ribbons, whatever is in that box that you open is a gift that God is giving you for that day. Remember, He promised you your daily bread, not what will happen tomorrow. So take time to smell the roses, as they say. Be good to yourself. Love yourself. Love your children and teach them to love themselves also. Erase whatever bitterness you have in your heart, because bitterness destroys the vessel that contains this. My mother always tells me that. So whatever bitterness you have, it's not destroying the other person, it's destroying you. So you and only you can get rid of that bitterness that you have in the vessel contained in your heart. So live like you mean it. Live like you love yourself, and live like this is heaven on earth. Wait no longer, because tomorrow may not be here in your presence, and it might just be too late. Wow. As I remind you what's going to take place this week on the program, tomorrow morning we have Judith with us, and she is coming to us from a company called People 490. She has to explain to me how she came up with that name of that company. She's the executive director of the company. Her name is Judith, and she'll join us tomorrow morning. She's going to tell you some things about getting a degree that you never imagined you could use to get there. So all the young people and all the adults out there whose dream was shuttered because you did not get the degree that you wanted, sometimes you really don't need it, but each and every one of us wants to have at least a bachelor's degree. So if you did not make that degree, and if you want a lot of information about education, you must join the program tomorrow morning at 10:30 with Judith, will be our special guest. She is coming from the company called People 490. And I find that name of that company very, very intriguing. So she's going to have to explain to me why People 490 and why not People 123? So we'll have Judith with us tomorrow morning. And tomorrow at the 8 o'clock hour, we'll have none other than Dr. Melanie, and we're going to talk about some X-rated stuff that you must hear. We're going to talk about sex, sexuality, loneliness, being married, being single, relationships in general. And we hope that she will be with us by Skype so you can have the phone lines free to call in and ask your own questions. On Wednesday morning, of course, we have Wellness Wednesday with Dax Dunn. And then on Friday morning, we will also have, again, Wow Big Friday, where we go through all the news of the week and see what really got me saying, wow, this is big. So that's some of the lineup for this week. We'll give you the more as we go along. And of course, we're always trying to find a preacher that can join us and talk a little bit about religion and all the seasons that we go through, like we just went through Passover, or, you know, some people call it different names, but basically it is Passover, when the devil passed over the houses that had the blood on the door. And they stopped at the ones that had no blood on the door and killed those firstborns. So hence the word Passover. Some say, you know, their day was Lord's Supper. What does Good Friday really mean? And what does Lent mean? And what does Ash Wednesday really mean? I will find you a preacher that can explain all of that, because I think it is important for us to know. And why are we so hung up about December 25? It's Christmas, and we almost go out and buy things that we can't afford to give presents to some people who don't even like us. Okay, so we'll talk about that and some of the other holidays, which Easter, it seems, is just the biggest one. My favorite holiday of the year is Thanksgiving, because I do believe that even though you say thanks to God and his son Jesus every single day, and you should do it minimum twice a day, but there's so many other things within the daytime that you must say thank you for. But on Thanksgiving in November, there is always great feeling for me when family gather and truly give thanks, because it's important to give thanks. We're blessed, we're blessed, we're blessed, and sometimes we don't even realize that we're so blessed. I found out this week that there's actually a company that actually cares about people. It's an Indian company called Tata, and they acquire lots of brands and companies. And when I saw the chairman being interviewed by Fareed Zakaria, and he said that 65% of his company profits goes to charity. Oh my goodness, I was so grateful. I wish I could get up and hug the guy and kiss him on the television. And then he said his family only takes 2% of the profits. The rest, of course, goes to operation. They have 450,000 employees around the world for the different companies that they own. And he practiced ethics in his company to a fault. If you're found to be unethical and you work for Tata, they not only fire you, they make sure you get prosecuted and go to jail for it. And as he explained that they could have taken over companies through hostile takeover, but he doesn't go for that, because he doesn't want to take over anything in a hostile manner. I thought to myself, I wonder if all the CEOs and the chairmen of companies around the world could be like that Indian man, handsome, well-kept, handsome man. Woo! I could not believe I could hear those words out of an executive's mouth. What a wonderful thing to hear and to see and to know that there's actually a company that gives 65% of their profits away to the poor, to the needy, to build houses, to take care of health care. Wow, that was just big for me, totally big. And wherever he is not hearing this, but someone may be seeing me, and tell him, congratulations, keep up the good work for Tata. It's an Indian company, but what a great company it is. So anything you buy that is owned or under the umbrella of the Tata companies, you yourself, you're actually contributing 65% of whatever you purchase to charity. What a great thing. What a great thing. What a great thing. And I must say, I promised myself today that I'm going to do some more research into that gentleman, because I just was so in awe of that interview. It was a short interview, but it was so touching and so good for anyone who was watching. So I hope that lots of CEOs and chairmen of companies and chairwomen will take heed and know that charity should be your driving force, helping those who are less fortunate, and not trying to squeeze every dollar that you can for profit to go into your own pocket. But remember, he said, his family, 2% is what they take. 2%. My goodness. That is impressive. And what a great thing. So, as we move on and continue with the program right now, and we'll also like to remember October 5, Save a Life Jamaica Foundation is having a great function, a fundraiser that will actually give you an opportunity to save a life, not just in Jamaica, but around the world for only $20. And if you can't make the event, we are inviting you to go online to the website of Save a Life Jamaica Foundation and make your contribution, and just state that it is for that particular fundraiser, October 5, that you heard about on the Diana Wright Show. So we thank you, and of course I'm thanking God because my throat is getting better and better, and it's almost 100%. So I'll continue to try to take some rest for the 8 o'clock show, but Tuesday we have to have Dr. Melanie, and we will play it by ear as we go through this week. But I know for sure that by the end of this week I'll be back to off snuff. All right. So, but just reminding you though, if you miss a show, just go to my website at dianawrighttv.webs.com. Go to the bottom of the page, click on the YouTube icon, and there you go. You'll see all the shows that you've missed, and that you just relax and watch them. Because remember now, people are watching their computers more than they're watching TV these days. So being on the internet is a good thing, a great thing, and it's not about where you start. It's where you finish, and where God has a plan to take you and make you and give you the opportunity to share your testimony and win souls for His kingdom, not yours. Okay, so we start off with some news, and we're going to start off in Venezuela. Defeated Venezuelan presidential candidate Enrique Capriles is demanding a recount of the votes in the election held in Venezuela yesterday. He lost by a very narrow margin and is rejecting the election of Hugo Chávez's successor as illegitimate. Socialist Nicolas Maduro, the winner, is calling for the results to be respected. Of course he would want it to be respected, whether he won or he lost, because he won in the eyes of the people. So I'm wondering about the Venezuelans. Are they just wanting to continue in the Chávez's memory, or do they really want to be a part of the world and not be isolated and just have, people getting gas for 2 cents a gallon and getting free housing and free food? Is that the way they want to live in Venezuela continuously? Or do they really want to have a legitimate government? We hope that the Venezuelans will come to that realization quickly enough. Because here again, they're locked in for another 6 years. I guess if they get a recount and then Enrique is actually the president, then we might see some changes in Venezuela. So for those of you who are running to Venezuela, make sure you know what you're doing. Okay? All right. Because I do know, I see a lot of people, when you watch HGTV, they're moving to Venezuela. So you better be careful and know where and how and what you're doing. I saw this and I thought this was quite disturbing. Their state's actually running out of water, running out of H2O. Wow. And I'll give you this. There's only 5 of them based on what was online, but I start off with South Dakota. An 86.3 percentage point of severe drought. So that means 86.3% of South Dakota is actually in severe drought mode, and they're running out of water. In Colorado, it's 89% of Colorado that's running out of water. New Mexico is 89.9%. Well, New Mexico I can kind of see, because when you go there, I've been there, and it always seems so dry. But I just did not realize that so much of New Mexico is running out of water, 89.9%. And then when you get to Kansas, it's even worse. It's 96% of Kansas is in severe drought mode, running out of water. The most precious commodity on earth, water. Because remember, water is more powerful than fire because water actually puts fire out. So we have to think of it, water is the most precious commodity that we have. And number one is Nebraska. Nebraska, 100% of Nebraska is in severe drought. I find that so hard to believe and wrap my head around it. When I saw it, I was taking my breath. Ah, ooh. 100% in severe drought in Nebraska. So you see what I'm talking to you about? Be grateful. Be thankful for wherever you are right now, because if you are in these 5 states, you could be wondering if you're going to run out of water. Something you can't do without. And as I just said, water is more powerful than fire because the water puts out the fire. Yes, think of it. It truly does. And there's some good news on the health front. I'm not quite sure how it's going to be accepted, but it is good news anyway. If you look at the problems they've had trying to do this for years now. Scientists making a kidney in the lab. Yes. This kidney has been transplanted into animals where it started to produce urine. Similar techniques to make simple body parts have already been used in patients, and we do know that. But the kidney is one of the most complicated organs so far to kick those scientists off their shoe. Engineered kidneys, though, are less effective than natural ones. So the scientists are making, because there's so many people who have kidney problems. I have a friend of mine who is desperate to get a transplant. And just when you talk to him, you just feel so sad that there's nothing you can do to help. And so these scientists trying to make a kidney in the lab, and it's actually working in animals, is actually good news. Dialysis is rampant in the US, in the Caribbean, just about everywhere. People's kidneys are failing. And we see it all the time where this family member gave one of their kidneys, or, you know, this nurse who's a stranger to this young man gave her kidney to the young man and he lived. And it is said that we can all survive on only one kidney, but the matching of that kidney is the big problem. It could be your mother and it doesn't match. Doesn't matter. Sometimes it's a stranger that matches. So the kidney has really rattled the science world for a while, but they seem like they're getting closer. So we'll see how that plays out. Remember the days when they came up with the heart that they made in the lab and everyone was so excited. Remember those days? I do remember. Okay. Anyway, they're beating up sugar again. Why do they continue to beat up sugar? We all grew up on eating sugar, and a lot of us are still alive. But the experts continue to beat sugar up. I don't know why, but I'll just let you know what they say. Thank you so much for joining the Diana Wright Show live online. So if you are a sugar addict, and I hope you're not, yes, I love ice cream, and I love to have a nice piece of cake once in a blue moon, not every day, not all the time. I said once in a blue moon now, because I believe that even if you're following a strict diet and you're not like, what's his name's wife, the great footballer, Mr. I watched his wife speak on what was it, Barbara Walters, and Barbara says, "You eat no cookies or no candy or nothing," and she said no. And Barbara was totally stunned, that she just did not have any sugar in her life at all. Maybe that's why she looks so stiff and so stern all the time. Anyway, the health risks of sugar. Of course, sugar, they blame it on your dental hygiene. If you have those kids that are eating all those candies, yes, their teeth will suffer. And that we know is not a lie. It is the truth. They're also saying that it can cause problems with cancer. Of course, we know obesity and thrush, yeast infection, and type 2 diabetes. So if you have type 2 diabetes, it's not just the carbs, it's the sugar. So you got to get rid of those two things, carbs and sugar. And a lot of you who like to have one meal, you know, like some people I know, they want to have one meal and they have on that one plate, they will have a vegetable, they'll have a protein, which is, you know, chicken or fish or whatever it is. And then they will have dumpling, rice, and yam, some kind of ground provision. And I'm going, that's kilocarbs. And a lot of people in the Caribbean, especially, that's how they eat. And they don't think anything is wrong with it. Something is actually wrong with it. Because not only that some of those carbs have carbs, they also have sugar in them. Hence the reason we have so many patients with type 2 diabetes in the Caribbean and among African Americans and among Spanish people, because they eat a lot of them tacos. So we just want to keep that in mind as we go about our plating our food. You only need one carb if you're going to have carb. If you're going to have rice, why do you need to have a dumpling and some yam? You don't need all of that. And if you're going to have a sweet potato, that's all you need. Just sweet potato. No rice with the sweet potato. Hello? That's too much for your body to process. What's so difficult in that to understand? And people will tell me, oh, I can't do without my yam. No, you can do without the yam. If you're only going to have yam, you should have just yam. And I can't do without my fried dumplings. No, you can. If you realize it's going to kill you, you can. So, okay, they're still blaming sugar for some more things. Depression. Do you know that too much sugar can cause you to be depressed? I never knew that. So I'm going to change around my graphics here for a minute because I truly did not know that. Depression? Sugar? I thought sugar would make you feel better and get you, you know, like you're feeling depressed and you go and have a nice piece of chocolate cake or a nice piece of cheesecake or a nice piece of coconut cake and it, woo, makes you feel so good. And then you go, oh my God, I should not have eaten that thing. So I guess that's how you get depressed, because you're depressed after the joy you get depressed. So that's the reason why they're blaming sugar for that. They're also blaming sugar for arthritis, heart disease, and acne. So I don't know how all those teenagers who truly love themselves some ice cream, most teenagers I know love ice cream and chocolate. So I'm not quite sure if they need to just cut that out of their diet and prevent that acne, or is it that, I think I'll ask Dr. Melanie that tomorrow on the 8 o'clock hour of my show, because if teenagers avoid sugar, is that going to save them from acne, since they're actually accusing sugar of helping to, you know, escalate that acne? That's one of the questions I think I'll ask. Because if that's the case, I think most teenagers, until you get to 20, you should eat no sugar, no chocolate, no sweet stuff, no candy. And then you will stop that acne from coming, because my goodness, I see some kids at my daughter's school and you feel so sad for them. The acne just takes over their faces. And you can't convince them that it's just a process that they're going through. They believe that this is their life's enemy and the devil and the demon has attacked them. And they can see no light at the end of that tunnel. And you have to truly counsel your teenager. Because I had to. You truly have to encourage them and counsel them and love them in that process of acne, because they truly believe that it will never go away. And if you're a person like me who had acne in their 40s, I actually had no acne during my teenage years, and boom, in my 40s, I'm going, what is this? I would rather have had this when I was a teenager. But no, you can't convince teenagers that it's going to go away. And eventually when they use every product that's on the shelf and on the market, and they've exhausted everything, they realize, I need to drink a lot of water. I need to cut out the sugar. I need to not love chocolate so much and cake and candy and, processed food so much. Give myself a break. I watched something incredible over the weekend on a program that's called Food Hospital on the Food Network. And they showed a young man who suffered from extreme eczema. And what did they do with his diet? They call it the elimination diet. So he eliminated all poultry. He eliminated all gluten, all wheat, all sugar, and all dairy out of his diet. And my goodness, in 3 weeks, the young man had beautiful skin again. And I thought to myself, this diet thing, watching your diet, is truly amazing. And when you're young and when you're in your teens, you figure, oh, I own the world. I can conquer the world. I can eat anything I want to eat and be slim. And you don't realize that you're actually killing yourself the way we eat when we're young. Because, a lot of young people, let's just face it, they figure they're invincible. So they can actually eat and do anything they want to do. Oh, I can lose weight. Because even you lose weight much faster when you're younger than when you are over 40. It's so much harder to get those pounds off. So we really and truly need to educate our children that these things can actually affect your allergies, your skin, because the eczema on that young man was horrible. His skin was cracking with that eczema. It was so bad. And even the doctors, I think, were amazed when he came back after 3 weeks. They could not believe it. And of course, after you go through the process and you eliminate stuff, then once again, you have to take your time and reintroduce each food item one at a time and see how it affects your skin. So if it affects your skin and you love yourself, as I preach to you every day to do, then you're going to say, something, I don't need that thing. I truly don't, because if it's going to make me look horrible, because the young man said, he never really smiled before. Whatever smile he had on his face was fake. He never felt happy, always felt sad and depressed. And now he has a new lease on life. So I'm here to encourage all of you young people. And if your parents are listening and watching, they need to let you know this, because it's crucial. And if you don't believe me, just go on the Food Network website and find that particular story about the young man with eczema. My goodness, I was so impressed and realized that your diet, as Dr. Melanie, every time she's on my show at the 8 o'clock hour on a Tuesday evening, she is always telling you your diet is crucial to your health, your skin, and everything else that happens in your body. And of course, exercise. So I even think that diet is more important than exercise, because if you're dieting and you're doing all the right things for your body, exercise kind of comes with it, because you feel so good you want to exercise. So sugar getting the killing today. So the recommended daily amount of servings for sugar for each person is 6 teaspoons for the entire day. They say most Americans have 30 teaspoons daily. And they say that Americans consume 66 pounds of sugar annually. Wow. And how much water are we drinking to wash that sugar out, may I ask? I don't know, but if you ask Dax, you better be drinking lots and lots of water. And you should eat nothing but a fruit in the morning before 12 o'clock, because your body is still eliminating. So I think I'll ask Dax about the elimination diet and that whole eczema story. I thought it was totally fantastic. So if you have a young person in your life that has eczema, and quite a few young people do, please get them to that diet of elimination. Eliminating things like poultry, gluten, wheat, dairy products out of their diet, and see what happens to their skin. And drink lots and lots of water. Okay, the way they say that you can reduce your sugar in your diet, though, is you just simply need to cut back on the sugar. So if you think you're having 30 teaspoons of sugar, get it down to 6 real fast. Add fruit instead of adding something else that's more sweet. And add flavor to your foods, so you're not, using herbs and fresh stuff to give flavor. Because, if you use fresh parsley and dill especially is so ripe and it smells so good when it's fresh. If you can't do it fresh, do it dried. Okay? Because you get basically the same benefits. It's just that when you buy the fresh ones, it spoils so quickly if you don't use it up in a fast pace. And when it's fresh, you really can't use a lot of that dill because it actually takes over the taste of your food. But dill is actually a fantastic herb that is cleansing and actually a healing property for your body. It truly is. Dill, definitely one of those things you should have in your diet. Of course, turmeric and cumin. Yeah. Those are some of the things. And leeks. Leeks are very good. If you're making any kind of stew, put leeks in it and let it just boil into your stew. Very, very good healing properties. All right. So we see a lot of these things and we think, wow, what is that? And ew. But sometimes they're truly, truly good for you and truly will heal you of certain things that goes on in our bodies as we get older, especially. And a lot of our young people are going through their struggles of eczema and acne. So if you have acne as a young person, just eliminate sugar and see what happens. Just eliminate gluten or wheat out of your diet and see what happens. Eliminate corn for sure, because a lot of us have corn allergies. And if you have any kind of joint pain or anything like that, definitely take out the corn out of your diet. All right? So, and substitute unsweetened. Okay? Try to drink your tea without any sugar. That's not so difficult. Come on now, you can do that. I know you can do it. Try teas like apple cinnamon, because definitely you need no sugar there. Sometimes it tastes to me like they add sugar to it. Okay? And if you love another kind of tea, just put a cinnamon apple tea bag in there and that sweetens it. But I know you're strong enough to do without the sugar in your tea. Just like how I know that you're strong enough to love yourself. Did you say I love me today? If you didn't, go say it now. You need to do it now. And you need to remember, and I hope you have it circled on your calendar, April 30th. It's just 15 days. We're counting down now to the International I Love Me Day. And I hope 10 years from now, it will be a day that we all will celebrate, just like we celebrate Valentine's Day or Christmas Day or any other day. Because it's a day that's so important. Because without loving you, there's no other day. No other day exists if you don't love yourself. Okay. All right. A very interesting story is about mothers who are highly educated and go to Ivy League schools. Best educated moms are most likely to opt out of the workforce by working only part-time or not working at all to stay home and take care of their children. This was found in a research done by a new analysis of government data. Only 70% of married women who attended Ivy League schools, no doubt, like Harvard and Princeton, were employed in 2010. So they go to these Ivy League schools, but they choose to stay home with their children. I applaud you for doing so and not allowing a babysitter or a nanny to raise your children. I chose to stay home, and I kind of felt a little weird sometimes because I thought that my career, I could have been doing, much better, could have been making a lot of money and, be famous. But I chose a different road, even though my husband tells my daughter, don't do that. But 80% of women who attended less competitive colleges were employed. So the people who have the degrees from the schools that are not Ivy League, they're more tending to go to work and take their kids to the babysitter. The data was prepared by economics professor at Vanderbilt University, Joni Hirsch. Only 45% of married Ivy League moms work full-time. Can you imagine that? 47, less than half of 100% women. Only 47% of those Ivy Leaguers are working full-time, compared with 57% of married moms who went to less competitive schools that are not Ivy League. They're working. Wow. Interesting survey, don't you think? I think so. So if you go to an Ivy League school, it's more likely that you're going to stay home when you get married with your children. And if you go to a college that is not an Ivy League college, that simply means that you are more likely to go out and work and take your child to daycare. Interesting thought. Maybe I'll ask Judith about that tomorrow when she joins us at 10:30 from People 490, because that's part of the educational process. I wonder if she delves into that, or she just deals with adults in terms of getting your degrees in her company. So we'll talk to her about that. She'll give you the whole gamut of what she does. And I thought the part that she shared with me, I thought is so fascinating. It's something that you must hear. I don't want to spill the beans. I'll wait until tomorrow. Let her tell you herself. At 10:30, Judith she's executive director of a company called People 490. How did you come up with that name for that company? Very interesting, very intriguing and fascinating for me. So we'll talk to her tomorrow. And of course, tomorrow evening at 8, we will have Dr. Melanie. We're going to talk about sex, sexuality, erectile dysfunction, and women who are just having dry places. Dried vajayjays, okay, menopause and all those things. We're going to talk about that tomorrow with Dr. Melanie. Of course, I'm sure we're not going to get to all of it like we never do. And just like with Judith tomorrow, I don't think we're going to get through everything. So we're going to try to have them back every week so they can give you pieces and pieces of the information, so you eventually will have it all that you need. And yes, married women are lonely in their beds and in their own house, even though they're married. Just in case you think that your single life is so bad and so terrible, it's not always. You have freedom. Married women don't. They can't just get up and say, I'm gone, I'm going here and going there. I think some of them do anyway, but I just can't see myself doing that, getting up and saying, bye, see you later, alligator, and go do my own thing, So enjoy your single life, people, and not be so down and depressed about it, and being so desperate to find some love. Find the love within your own heart for yourself. Love yourself. April 30th. I Love Me Day internationally, courtesy and created by the Diana Wright Show live online. So we welcome each and every one of you from around the world to join us in that celebration in less than 15 days, because today is the 15th. So we're counting down, and we're counting down to getting to 100 shows right here on the Diana Wright Show. Thank you so much for joining me. And of course, we continue now with the news. And this one I love. I truly love this one. This one is about, how you have differences when you marry, but you should not try to be changing your spouse. And a lot of us try to do that. Secrets of a happy relationship. I'm sure you all want to know this. I did, and I read it with my arms wide open. To receive and to change, because we all need to change sometimes. Secrets of a happy relationship. We'll start with this. Ask for what you want. So ladies and gentlemen, if you are married and you want sex done a certain way, don't be shy to ask about the way you want it. Don't be just lying there and not saying anything, and then you go and you're mad because they didn't do what you wanted them to do for you. Discuss it. Have a discussion. Speak about what you want out of the relationship. Do you want love notes? Like Yolanda on Housewives of Beverly Hills, she told her husband, just write me love notes, love letters every day. That's what she wants. What do you want? You need to speak and not assume that the other person is going to try to read your mind, because nobody reads minds in relationships. At least it shouldn't be. And then date your partner. Have a date sometimes, not just get bogged down with the children. Find a way. My way is when I go with where my mom is, my husband and I go out on a date. Yeah. Because that's the only person I trust to be with my daughter is my mom. Okay, that's just me. But a lot of people, you will allow a babysitter or another friend or whatever to stay with your child. Have a date night. Some people do it once a week. I try to do it a few times a year. Okay. Live your own life. Okay? That means don't live your life just around your spouse or your significant other. Live your own life. Be your own person. Love yourself and want to do things on your own too. Okay? Be realistic about your relationship. Don't always think of love songs and romantic goodies, because that's not what a relationship is. When you get married, things change. You have children, things change. You have work, you have to cook, you have to clean, you have to do all kind of things, and your whole relationship changes because you didn't plan for all those things. You always think that's going to be roses and love notes and all of that. No, it's not. Keep secrets for each other. So don't go and tell everybody your husband's secret or your wife's secret. And you know what those secrets are. They could be sexual, they could be dark secrets from the past, they could be whatever, anything. Keep your secret for each other. Not secret from each other now. You shouldn't have secrets from each other, but keep each other's secrets. There's a difference, okay? So make sure I'm making myself clear. Don't keep secrets from your husband or your significant other, but you must keep each other's secrets. So if you know something about me that I'm just, weak in that particular area, don't go be telling everybody. No, not fair. Okay. They say when you want to keep your relationship going, you must have sex. Don't try to punish the person by not giving them any sex, okay? Male or female, that is. So you must have sex to keep your relationship good. Okay. Know why you stay. If you had a problem, you have a problem in your relationship, whether someone cheated or, whatever happened, something bad, and you decide to stay, know within your heart truly, why am I staying in this relationship? Evaluate that and do what's best for you. Why do you stay? Okay? Pick your battles. Don't be fighting over every little thing. Pick the battles. Fight about only the big things. Sometimes you can let some other things go. But if it bugs you enough, then you should deal with it. All right? So, okay. Share the chores. Gentlemen especially. Don't expect your wife to go to work, come home and cook and clean and wash and iron and do everything, and you sit and watch sports all the time. It's never, ever, ever going to work that way. Unless your wife is just someone who's used to being abused and stepped on. She's not going to have it. And ladies, you must not allow your husband to be a slave to you either, because some women have it that way. Share the chores. Very important. Don't fix your relationship. Maintain it. They're saying don't try to go out and fix your relationship. You should try to maintain a good relationship. So there will be no need to fix it if you're maintaining it. Just like your house. If you maintain your house, you don't have to go fix some major thing when it breaks down because you have been maintaining it. So try to maintain your relationships. That's a good one, I think. Stop pointing fingers. Don't blame your partner for everything. Don't stop pointing fingers. You did this, so I did that. And you didn't do this, so I didn't do that. Flirt with each other. Yes, you should flirt sometimes, you know. Send some notes and some emails and some texts and, you know, whatever. Or floats your boat. Change yourself. Look at you, not only your partner. So if you're looking at your partner and you say, my God, your belly's getting too big. I don't like no big belly guy or that kind of thing. Look at yourself. Have you gained some weight? And men especially are guilty for this. They have those big old bellies inside of, you know, in front of them. And then they're saying to their wives, well, you look like you could lose some weight. Or you look like you need a new wardrobe. What about you? So yes, men, you are very guilty of that one. Respect your differences. Yes, you should respect your differences, because if both of you are exactly the same, I don't see how that works very well. So you should respect the difference of that person. Like you have one person that's effervescent and bubbly and all the time, and you have one person that's more grounded and more serious. Sometimes that's good. It reins in the crazy person. Okay, always give 100%, not 98, not 80%. Ladies and gentlemen, you must give 100% to the relationship that you're in. Otherwise, it will not be so great. Look past the past. Okay? So whatever happened in the past, try to look past it. That one is very difficult for me, because sometimes you sit and you think. Don't think so much. Don't lie in your bed and think too much, because if you think too much, it brings the past right back. So they're asking you to look past the past. Okay. Exchange gifts. Oh yeah, I like that one. Exchanging gifts. I need my husband to buy me some gifts. Yes. How about that? That's a good thing. Remember the man I told you about last week? He buys his wife a gift for every day she went on a business trip, and lays them all out on the kitchen table, and waits for her reaction when she sees them. What a great guy he is. Okay, viva la differenza. Men and women are different in many ways, and you should keep that in mind. Men are going to leave the toilet open sometimes, but if you're lucky to have someone who closes it, yes, so keep telling him to close the toilet. Eventually he'll get it. Don't get mad. Because some women really get mad over that one, you know, and especially if the guy pees on that toilet seat. Woo! She goes ballistic. Okay, make each other a priority. Make your husband or your wife a priority in your life. Don't just kick them to the curb and say business is more important. It's not. Kiss often. Cuddling is great. So you don't have to have sex all the time. You can just cuddle and kiss each other, and that's romance. Yes? Lots of men need to understand that. It's not always about, you know, penetration. Sometimes it's about just cuddling and talking and having a good moment. Share your fantasies. Yes, they say you should share your fantasies. What is your fantasy? And it doesn't have to always be sexual. So don't go there with your minds right now. I know you're thinking, okay, Diana, share my fantasy. It could be a fantasy of what you want to see in your future life for yourself. Share those fantasies with your loved ones. Your significant other, if you please. Don't take love for granted. Never ever do that. Because I have seen too many people get divorced because they think everything is wonderful, and their wife get up one morning and say, I don't want this anymore. I'm tired of cooking and cleaning and washing. I want a divorce. Or she will say, I'm tired of this. It's boring. Or some women, they go out with their tennis coach and they leave you. So never take love for granted. And don't be telling people about, you know, she handles the money and she's taking care of the money. So, you know, what is she complaining about? A lot of men like to say that. I go out and I work and I provide. So what does she want? Yes, she wants some romance. How about that? Some hugging, some kissing, some cuddling, some talking. Communication? Hello? All right. Broaden your horizons. Don't get into that routine thing. I hate routines. you know your husband is coming home at 7, or he comes home at 6, or he comes home at 5, and dinner is served at 7, and on weekends you do this and you do that. No, shake it up. Do different things. Just get up one morning and decide to drive to Key West, or drive to Sanibel Island, or if I'm talking about people who live in Florida. If you live in Atlanta, you find some place to go. And make it spontaneous. Routines are boring, and they become boring after a while. So I am all for that one. No routines in my life. I hate routines. Don't be afraid to experiment, and not just with sex, with just about everything else in your relationships. Experiment with different things, different places, do different things. Get out of the rut. Don't sweat the small stuff. Please don't sweat the small stuff. Hold hands when you're out in public. Don't act like you are walking 1 mile away from your spouse. Like I see some women walking way in front of the person and they're looking back, and I'm going, where's the guy? And then you see he will creep up once you get into the store. And listen to each other. That's so important. So I am going to leave the rest until another time, because I see I have quite a few left here. And I'm going to go over them, of course, when we talk to Dr. Melanie tomorrow evening at 8. So I will complete them tomorrow morning when I start, or maybe another day. I'll get to them and I'll just go all over them, because this is something you need to hear all the time. It's not just a one-time shot that you say it, boom, and you get it. Some people need to hear these things over and over and over, just like I'm telling you over and over to love yourself every single morning you wake up. Please love me on Facebook. I like love. Love is the ruler of everything. Love, those 4 letters, L-O-V-E. Wow, they wreck a lot of power. Did you know? We all want it. We all seek it. And we all need to have it for ourselves. Love yourself. 3 little words. So powerful. I love me. It cures, it heals, it forgives, it energizes. If you just keep saying it until you believe it. And come April 30th, it's a day that I want you to celebrate it in your life. Just the way you celebrate Valentine's Day, I want you to celebrate you. And let your children celebrate themselves that day. Whatever you need to get them to show them that it is a day. I'm not going to get into any products. I'm just going to encourage you to do that. Make your own product. Come up with your own theme for that. But you must do it because it's important. It's crucial. So, once again, love me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. And, of course, give me a call if you have any questions and you would like to invite me to your function to spread my crusade. And I will keep you abreast of when my book will be ready. It's called Deadly Negligence, Major Screw Up. Yes. That's not all of the title. I'll give it to you in doses. And once I get it out and I let you know about it, you will run to the store, run to Amazon, and you will get it. And you can actually pre-order the book if you like by giving me a call at 561-228-1921. That's 561-228-1921. And I just want to say again to that young lady who's waiting for that tape very patiently, I have your number. I will call you. The tapes are still not ready. We had to take something else to them on Saturday. So hopefully in a few weeks, we will have that tape for you. So I'll give you a call at that time. I always keep my promises and I always complete my task. So I will not disappoint, because I think disappointment is one of the greatest things that we should strive not to do. Do not disappoint people in your life. It can be devastating and it can just set them down the wrong path. People get, disappointed and they can't handle it. It's good for you to be strong enough and love yourself enough that you can pull yourself out of that disappointment. But some people are weak and they stay down there. So whatever depressed state you're in today, I hope I have managed to raise you up a little bit, give you a reason to smile, a reason to love yourself, and a reason to live another day. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it was never yours. April 30th, International I Love Me Day. I say adios, ciao, au revoir. And be well, stay prayed up, and stay conscious in the moment and enjoy every single moment of your life. Dooby dooby doo.